shepherd's pie. And for this recipe, we're going to use 1.5 pounds of ground beef, about a cup of diced onions, Worcestershire sauce, one-third cup of flour, 2 cups of beef broth, seasoned salt, salt and pepper, and here we have about 2 cups of peas, corn, and chopped carrots. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this ground beef started. Put it over medium-high heat. And in this recipe, it does use potatoes. However, since we're going to dehydrate this for the trail, we're not going to put the potatoes in. Basically, I use the Idahoan potatoes, and you could cook them separately when you're out on the trail rather than adding them in. I think it would be better if you cook them separately on the trail, put them on top, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. So we're going to get this started. Get this browned, and we'll be back. Alright, at this point I'm going to sprinkle a little seasoned salt on it. Maybe a teaspoon, tablespoon. And continue browning that. Oh, we're also going to add a little salt and pepper. Again, we want to brown it, we want to chop it up into small pieces. Alright, so now we got the ground beef all nice and brown. We're going to bring it over to the sink. We're going to drain all this fat off. Since we're dehydrating it, we want to get all that fat off. We want to rinse it off so it doesn't go rancid. And it'll store a lot longer. So, just going to break this up, and we'll bring everything over to the sink. Alright, so we got it in the colander, the strainer, and we're going to flip it around, work the water through it, get all that grease out. Yes, I did see that I missed a little, so we got a nice little pile in the sink, but not a big deal, get rid of that. Alright, so that's good. We'll bring it back to the stove and we'll finish this shepherd's pie. Alright, so we're back. We're going to finish the ground beef, put that back in. Alright, and I also rinsed out the frying pan as well. Got all that fat out, all the oil that was on the bottom, all the grease and everything. So now we got the ground beef. You can hear that start to sizzle. Now we want to add our onions. And again, we'll keep it over medium. I like to go a little bit medium-low on this, and we just want to get these onions nice and translucent. I also like to add, at this point, I like to add just a touch of chicken broth just to wet the pan. With a little liquid in there. Alright, so I'm just going to cook these onions in this beef. When it gets all translucent, we'll be back and show you the next couple of steps. Alright, so now that the onions and the beef is done, next thing we want to do is, again, we want to season it again with the seasoned salt, and cracked pepper, and some salt. Now we want to incorporate the flour. And basically what this will do is bind everything together. It'll create the sauce. And you want to just cook that. And there you want to incorporate it, get everything all covered nice. And it'll thicken up once we add the beef broth. See how thick that's gotten? It's starting to stick to the bottom. It just takes a minute or two to do that. Now we want to add our beef broth. And I like to add just a little bit of water as well. And we want to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. See how that's thickening up already, and that's what that flour does. Now at this time I lower it down. Just lower it, let it simmer. You can see how nice and thick that got. Mix that up really nice. And we want to cook this for about 5 or 6 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to turn the camera off. Be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll add the vegetables. Alright, so we got the vegetables in there. We're going to put the cover on. Heat's turned off. We're just going to let it sit, cook those vegetables, and we'll be back. And at that time, we'll put it on the dehydrator. Well, that's good. I'll put it on the dehydrator and start the dehydration process.